Good evening, Javier Franco, Perspective from My Port, Steps for Success Life Coach Program. Uh, Today is Saturday night. It's a beautiful Saturday night. The weather's been good this last week. Um, Today, what I want to talk about is I've talked about it before in the past. Um, I like to hang around this certain one barber shop that I go to. It's very relaxing to me to watch the transition from a person who has long hair or even a beard, and how the barbers will make that transition. The person, they will cut their hair, and there's a transformation. I'm sorry, there's a transformation that is made of this person as they get their hair cut, um, and the person can change from drastically to change the contours. It's almost it is an art form. It's a very good art form, and I admire them. But there's one thing that they do that has always fascinated me, and that is they look at the mirror. So I asked them one day, so why do y'all look at the mirror? And as you can tell, that most of them will face you away from the mirror, but as they're cutting the hair, your head, uh, the back of your head is in the mirror. Um, and the barbers will look at that mirror, and they'll look at it, and then look at you, and then cut. So I asked, like I said one time, what is the purpose? Why do you look so much at the mirror? Because that's very interesting. And they said, because the mirror doesn't lie. I'm like, okay. So as I studied that, I was thinking to myself, what do you mean that the mirror doesn't lie? You can see the contour. You can see where the shading is. You can see the difference in form of the hair. And they look at the mirror. They look at the person. They look at the mirror. The mirror doesn't lie. As I was sitting there today, I went by there for about 10, 15 minutes on my way home. Uh, they were doing that, and once again, they were looking at the mirror. How interesting that in our lives is the same concept. Are we willing to look at the mirror? Are we willing to look at the mirror to see what the mirror really says about us? Uh, One of the things that I used to tell people, I used to tell my clients, was to look in the mirror and tell themselves that they're beautiful, that they're wonderful, and they're fantastic, and to look straight in the mirror. Even doing these videos, one of the hardest things for me to do is to look straight into the camera and talk to myself, because I just basically see my reflection on the screen. And there's things that I adjust sometimes, and there's lighting that I adjust, but ultimately the mirror tells the truth. um, as as we look at ourselves, as we look at in our souls, as we look in our personalities, are we willing to look inside the mirror? Are we willing to look at the mirror to see who we really are? Once we see who we really are we willing to make those changes? I was talking to somebody the other day, just this week actually, at my flea market, and one of the things that we talked about was how we don't like certain things about other people. And I said, well, the thing about that is that the things that we don't like about other people is usually something that we don't like about ourselves, and that something that we want to change. uh, and it's like they're our mirror. They're our mirror image. I don't know if y'all ever saw A Few Good Men, and in one of the scenes it says, "My mirror discharges weapon." And what it is they're in Cuba and in Guantanamo Bay, and in that scene there is a Cuban national on the other side of the fence, and this other guy's on this side of the American side of the fence. So they have somebody who they constantly watch each other, and whatever that person on the other side does, the person on this side will do. They mirror each other. And as I was thinking about that movie, is that the mirror discharge. So therefore, I did the same thing. As we look into the mirror, who are we looking at? What are we looking at? What are the changes that we want in our lives to change? What are we willing to change, and what are we scared to change? Uh, and change is very scary, very scary. I've had to do a lot of changes in my life. I've had to do a lot of soul searching. I've had to do a lot of listening to people talk to me about what I need to change. And you know what? That's one of the hardest things for us to do, is to listen to people as they watch us. And when we trust those people, and like I said, always go to the people that you trust. Always go to the people who have been there, who have been successful, and who have that knowledge. I'm not going to go to some teenager and ask them, well, what do you think I need to change? They probably tell me, but is it what I need to change, or is it their life experience is going to be totally different than my life experience? As I hit my birthday, 60, I'll be 60 years old. My my view of my mirror is very different than your view of in your mirror. Um, in my mirror, there's a lot of things that needed to be changed, a lot of things that need to be changed. And am I happy with what I'm seeing? Or am I willing to look at those things in the mirror and change them? Because once again, the mirror tells us the truth. The mirror does not lie. As you look at your mirror in your heart, as you look at your mirror in your life, what are those things that you need to change? What are those things that you're needing to change but are scared to make those changes? As we go through our lives, there's a lot of things that we're scared of changing. But like I said, there's things that I just cannot change, not because before anything, it's scary. It's a scary change. But when we look at the true reflection of ourselves, um, we must acknowledge it and say, okay, this is what needs to be changed. Um, I'm thinking of a scene. I was fishing one day, and there was some clouds on the beautiful on the lake that I was fishing, and there was some the you could see the reflection of the clouds, and as time went on, you could see the reflection of the moon, and it was a beautiful scenery. But I did actually catch a fish that day, and when I and it, there was a disruption. The 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 water, the fish splashing, there was a disruption, and the clouds were all over the place, and they were disfigured. And I thought to myself, and later on I thought, you know what? That's our lives. Something will happen to us, and there's a distraction. There's something that distracts us, that just confuses the situation, and our mirror is not telling the truth anymore. I have an old mirror at my flea market. It's from probably the 1930s. There is a depression on it. There is, you can see that there's oddity in it. And if you look at one side, it's like, wow, it's kind of look weird. But if you look at it from another angle, it's like, wow, what was that? It's a leaf. Uh, uh, and you see the true reflection. As we go through this week, the rest of this week, as we go through November, what reflection are we seeing in our mirror? Are we willing to look in that mirror? And are we willing to accept the truth in that mirror? Uh, one of the things that I'm thinking about is how we look at the mirror when we go shopping. Men, we don't usually do this, but some men probably do, but I don't. The men that I run around, they sure don't. But the women will stand there and they'll look at the outfit, but at the same time they'll go like, oh, I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about myself. And they'll, instead of looking at the outfit, they start looking at the person there. I love taking pictures of people. I love taking pictures with people, and in most situations, they'll say, well, let me look at the picture before you post it. Maybe you look at the picture before you post it, because the picture usually tells us the truth. The mirror tells us the truth. I've always said that in order for us to do better for ourselves, is that we must believe in ourselves, we must trust ourselves, and we must know who we are and what goals we have in our lives. What goals do I have in my life? Right now, there's so many goals in my life that I have to put up in a priority, and as I prioritize them, I need to see what is more important and what is not as important. And do I need to make those changes? Am I willing to make those changes? Um, Once again, as we go through this week, this month, uh, and this month of Thanksgiving, this month of November, what are we needing to do to change our heart, our personality, our mindset? Are we wanting to change? And when we're wanting to change, is there something there that we need to fix? Ask somebody probably to help us fix it, or are we willing to learn how to fix that situation? Um, Look at the mirror, see what it tells you. The mirror doesn't lie. So next time you go to a barber shop or a beauty salon, you see them looking at the mirror, remember, they're looking at the mirror because the mirror does not lie. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good evening, have a good weekend. Remember, uh, this is November the 4th. So November 4th, time changes. If you're in certain areas, time changes. So it's fall backwards. So just a reminder. So I'll let y'all later. Thank y'all.